Hey there, Chiefs Kingdom. Harrison Graham here on the Chiefs Report. You can follow me on Twitter at HGrahamNFL. Mailbag is today's show. If you didn't get your questions in, just use hashtag Chiefs in the comments section, and we will try to answer your question on next week's Mailbag. All right, let's kick things off with Tatum Floyd here using hashtag Chiefs. What are the odds of getting Orlando Brown, the left tackle, much more upside than Eric Fisher? Well, upside or not, Eric Fisher has a torn Achilles, so there's a pretty good chance you're going to need a left tackle, at least for the beginning of next year. And who knows, his career could be in jeopardy as Fisher is an older player. Now, the background info here on Orlando Brown is he wants to play left tackle. Ronnie Stanley's coming back next year from injury for the Ravens, who they've already paid to be their left tackle, so he wants to be traded. He has requested a trade because guess what? Left tackles make more money in the NFL than right tackles do. He's entering the final year of his rookie contract. This could be an interesting path for the Kansas City Chiefs because he's still cheap on his rookie deal, and Kansas City has major question marks up front. Eric Fisher, torn Achilles. Mitchell Schwartz, back issue. Who knows if he's back next year? Osemele, free agent. Oh, and he tore tendons in both of his knees. LDT's supposed to come back, but he took a year off. Lucas Niang opted out of his rookie season. We'll see what he brings to the table. Both your centers are free agents. There could be a brand new offensive line for Kansas City next year, depending on a couple of different things. And if I'm the Chiefs, who don't really have a ton of major needs, I would say offensive line is one that you need to shore up. I'm very interested in an Orlando Brown trade with or without the Eric Fisher injury, honestly. You can cut Eric Fisher and save some money. Trade for Orlando Brown, yeah, you'll have to pay him in the future, but you worry about that after this year. You're worrying about this upcoming season because the Chiefs are in win-now mode. I would definitely send my first-round pick, maybe even more, to shore up left tackle for the next decade plus. Would you trade a first-round pick for Orlando Brown? This will be the pinned comment on today's show. I want you guys to weigh in right there. Type Y for yes, type N for no. You'll probably get hit with the ad break here. Go ahead and cast your votes, and then the video will be back in playing. Next question from Jacob. Do we have enough money to sign Trent Williams? As much as I like the Orlando Brown trade idea, don't expect Trent Williams here. The Chiefs are going to be pretty strict with the salary cap this offseason. Last offseason, Brett Veach proved that you can finagle the cap, but I don't expect as aggressive of a style from Brett Veach. You're just not going to be able to sign Trent Williams. He's going to cost, on the low end, $14 or $15 million per year, in my opinion. On the high end, closer to 20. He's clearly the best tackle available in free agency. I don't think there's any chance it happens. Now, sure, if you cut a couple of guys and trade away a couple of contracts, maybe it's possible, but I just don't view that as an avenue for Kansas City to overpay for an aging tackle just because you have offensive line issues. I'd much rather explore trading for a guy like Orlando Brown than I would at signing Trent Williams for 3 years and $55 million. I just don't see that as a good idea or even a realistic idea for Kansas City. Now, I'll tell you what, if they sign Trent Williams, if they trade for Orlando Brown, we're going to make a video about it because that's what we do here at the Chiefs Report. We keep you guys up to date on the latest news, rumors. We do these weekly mailbags, hashtag Chiefs in the comments section, and a whole lot more coverage around the draft, around free agency. Just because the season's over doesn't mean we're going anywhere. If anything, we're doing more videos for you guys. And yes, I know y'all been begging for a mock draft the last month or two. Season's finally over. I promised you we're going to get to it next week. Subscribe so you don't miss it. Truly goated. What could we get for Frank Clark in a trade? I don't know if you're getting much for Frank Clark. I'm not going to lie. The Chiefs gave him the bag, and he's been okay. 4 sacks this year. Definitely did not play that well. Played better in the playoffs, but he just hasn't been that good since they traded for him a couple of off seasons ago. Now, couple playoff runs ago, he was great. He was huge in the Super Bowl against the 49ers. He was better this playoff run than he was in the regular season, but he's up $26-27 million against the cap this year. You're not trading Frank Clark. It's not going to happen. It's a tough contract to trade as it is, and even if you could move him, you're not getting a ton for him, and you're still going to have to eat a lot of that money. I don't see it happening. I think you're stuck with Frank Clark for at least this year. I know starting in 2022, that contract becomes more movable because the dead cap money is much, much less, but for 2021, I think you just got to hope he plays better, and you expect that because that's what you paid for him to do once you traded for him from the Seattle Seahawks back in 2019. Should the Chiefs explore it, though? Should they try and trade Frank Clark? Type Y for yes, type N for no. Look, I would always explore everything if I was a general manager, but I just don't think it's likely. I'm probably going to type my N for no on this one. Kids NFL Network, how about sign Patrick Peterson and Alex Mack? Look, I'd explore Peterson. I think he's going to cost too much, but there's no harm in seeing what the market is. Maybe you talk him into a somewhat discounted one-year deal, see if he wants to try and chase a ring in 2021 and then get one more big contract in 2022 from another team. I think that's more likely with a guy like Richard Sherman, who we talked about on our Chiefs free agent targets video, than Patrick Peterson, because Peterson, 30 years old, probably wants to get one more big contract. That's not going to come from Kansas City. Now, Alex Mack, a guy who's 35 years old and you need a center and he's still good, I think that's something I have interested in. Austin Reiter, free agent. Daniel Kilgore, free agent. Alex Mack, free agent, and probably better, even though he's a little bit older. At 35, 36, that's probably a player who might have more incentive to try and chase a ring than a Patrick Peterson who's still just 30 years old and can get a big contract. I'd like Alex Mack on a 1 or 2 year deal in Kansas City. I think he'd be better than Austin Reiter. And honestly, he might be a little cheaper because he is older. I'll be fascinated to see how Brett Veach handles this offensive line this offseason. Name a player the Chiefs should sign in free agency. It can be any position. I want to hear it from you guys. Who do you want Brett Veach and Andy Reid to target this offseason? Now, we have full free agency coverage, NFL draft coverage, and a whole lot more at our main Chat Sports YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/chatsportstv. You see the link below. We'll make sure it's in the description as well. Go subscribe over there. We have over 230,000 subscribers, daily NFL videos, some Chiefs content over there also. The Chiefs Report would not be possible without Chat Sports. It's one of the many channels at Chat Sports. And our main Chat Sports channel, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Tons of NFL videos, plus they go live twice a week on Mondays and on Wednesdays. You see me over there as well from time to time. So go subscribe, support our main channel. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Last word here from Darren Thomas, #Chiefs. Could the Chiefs sign Tyrell Williams? The Raiders are releasing him. Yeah, news dropped on Thursday that they are going to release him. I think it becomes official a week or so before free agency. But once free agency starts, he will be available to sign for any team. He was good in 2019 before he got hurt. I think he had a plantar fasciitis issue with one of his feet. Can't remember which one. But really good first half of that season. Kind of slowed down because he was banged up. But I think there's high upside here as a number 2 wide receiver, and he's a big play weapon downfield. I've got interest here because I think you might be able to get him on like a 1 year, $4 or $5 million type deal because he does have the injury history the last year and a half. I think you can get him for cheaper than re-signing a guy like Sammy Watkins. Like Sammy, some injury concerns, but some upside here. I think he could fit really well in this offense because he has some speed and some big playability. I would definitely check in on Tyrell and see what his market is this offseason if I was Andy Reid and Brett Veach. Now, name a receiver. What receiver should the Chiefs sign or draft this offseason? If you want to bring back Sammy, you can type his name in there. A lot of good players in the draft, a lot of receivers available in free agency. Going to be fun. We'll cover it all offseason long here on the Chiefs Report. We'll see you very, very soon.